Every single year, the Nobel Prize celebrates these huge ideas that completely change how we see the world. So, what if the 2025 Prize for Economics went to a theory that gives us a brand new, powerful way to understand progress itself? It's one of the biggest mysteries in economics, right? What is the secret sauce? What makes some countries get richer and richer while others just stall? Well, it turns out this year's prize offers a really profound answer. All right, let's get into it. The 2025 Nobel is being awarded for some absolutely groundbreaking work on how innovation is the engine of economic growth. But here's the twist. The core insight here is that this process isn't just about neatly adding new stuff on top of the old. It's about a powerful, messy, and disruptive cycle called creative destruction. Now, to really get this idea, you have to meet the three winners. First, there's Joel Mokyr. Think of him as the historian who sets the stage, figuring out the cultural conditions that let new ideas bloom. Then you have Felipe Aghion and Peter Howitt, the theorists. They built the mathematical models that show how this innovation engine actually works, both the good part, the growth, and the tough part, the disruption. When you put their work together, you get one incredibly powerful theory. So what exactly is this big idea creative destruction? Well, the key insight is that real, long-term economic growth doesn't come from just making more of what we already have. No, it's a relentless, constant process where new ideas and technologies come in and completely replace the old ones. Now, this term creative destruction was actually made famous way back by the economist Joseph Schumpeter. And it's such a perfect description because it frames progress not as some gentle, polite addition, but as a total revolution from the inside out. It's dynamic, it's powerful, and yeah, it's often pretty turbulent. And you see this everywhere once you start looking. Think about it. The car didn't just improve the horse and buggy, it completely destroyed that entire industry to build a new one. Streaming services didn't just offer a different option to video stores, they made them totally obsolete. This isn't just a small change, we're talking total transformation. And this brings us to a really crucial point in the laureate's work. This whole process of transformation, well, it's not a simple, painless upgrade. It has two very, very different sides. For every amazing new industry that pops up, an old one starts to fade away. For every incredible leap in productivity, you can get short-term job losses. What Aghion and Howitt's models show so brilliantly is that this very tension, this difficult, messy balance between the creative and the destructive is what actually fuels prosperity in the long run. You just can't have one without the other. But what makes this whole process even possible? Where does innovation come from? This is where Joel Mokyr's work is just so important. He shows us that innovation doesn't just appear out of thin air. It really thrives in societies that value curiosity, that are open to new ways of doing things, and that have institutions, things like universities, patent laws, competitive markets, that actively encourage people to discover and build. Okay, so this isn't just some interesting economic history lesson. This is our daily reality. You could argue that these ideas are more relevant right now than at any other time in history, simply because we're living through several massive waves of creative destruction all at the same time. Just look around you. The rise of artificial intelligence is totally reshaping what we think of as knowledge work. The massive shift to green energy is creating brand new industries while seriously challenging the old fossil fuel giants. And the digital economy just keeps transforming how we do, well, everything. Each one of these is a perfect real-time example of creative destruction. And this is the big takeaway for all of us. The work of these Nobel winners reminds us that the real challenge isn't trying to stop change. You can't. The challenge is managing the transition. The real goal for governments, for companies, for all of us should be to build systems that help people adapt, learn new skills, and move from the declining parts of the economy to the new, growing ones. And while all this disruption can feel incredibly new and maybe even a little scary, the laureate's work is a powerful reminder that this is not the first time we've been through this. This cycle is a fundamental pattern of human progress that has repeated itself for centuries. From the steam engine to the assembly line, from the microchip to the internet to today's AI, every single major leap in our history has followed this exact same pattern. A mind-blowing innovation appears, it completely disrupts the old way of doing things, and then ultimately it renews the economy and sets the stage for the next big wave. At the end of the day, the 2025 Nobel Prize really celebrates an optimistic, if challenging, view of our world. It teaches us that progress is born from change, and that to really move forward, we sometimes have to let go of the old to make way for the new. So it leaves us with this incredible question to think about as we stand right here on the edge of these massive shifts with AI and green tech. What are the next creations? What new industries, jobs, and ways of life are about to be born? And what's about to be destroyed? Because as this theory shows us, the future is always being rebuilt.